A good evening to you, our esteemed viewer. Thank you so much for choosing Church of Uganda Family TV at this particular time. This is the Health Pot. Health Pot is a program centered around maternal and child health, early childhood development, and other public health concerns in our communities. This program is brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health, and we discuss those three aspects. Today, we have another amazing topic, especially the fact that we are in a rainy season. Sometimes it rains in the night, sometimes it rains during the day. So it is important that we get this information, especially about waste management. Today we are dealing with solid waste management practices. Now, we shall talk about mostly the people in Kampala, around Kampala, because these days we have the biggest effects and we suffer seriously. So you manage your waste the wrong way, you're one of the reasons as to why our roads are flooding, and so when it rains, it is hardly impassable. Therefore, Adrian Austin Mukalazi is my name, and with us is a team from Makerere University School of Public Health under Mwesa, and they're going to take us through a couple of things that you don't need to miss out. With us is Dickson Kizza. Dickson, you're most welcome to this show.
Thank you.
Kindly greet the viewers who are watching you.
Right. First of all, I'm by the names of Kizza Dickson from Makerere University School of Public Health. Yeah, I'm the Deputy Speaker for the Makerere University Environmental Health Students Association. That is Mwesa. Then I come from Masindi district. Yeah, we are from Bunyoro region. I'm a Bunyoro by tribe.
Okay.
Yeah, so and maybe some other thing you need to know. I'm so passionate about the environment.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is very important. I was about to greet you in Runyoro, but I realized my producer might laugh so loud and her voice might cover up this entire studio. So I reserve my Runyoro. We shall speak off camera.
Right.
With us is also Mujurani Alpha. Yeah, I'll stop it at Alpha. Alpha, you're most welcome to this.
Thank you very much.
Yes, kindly greet that.
Well, greetings to you all. I'm Alphersiru Mujurani. Yeah, the name ends Alphersiru, yeah. But many friends of mine call me Alpha just because it's a bit hard. Yeah. I'm from Fort Portal. Okay. I'm a Mitoro, by the way.
Okay. That's
why some friends of mine and also some postmates of mine, they call me the Toro Prince. And I'm just glad to be like that.
But we also have a Toro Prince here.
A Toro Prince here. I think I'll be glad to meet that person. Really?
That person behind the camera.
I saw nice. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yes.
Thank
but
you
I'm
very
also
much.
a Toro somehow.
Oh.
Anyway.
I'm hot.
Hey, I'm also a mod.
You're
so
so nice.
So today is a discussion of the motives. Very interesting. But back to our topic today, we are dealing with solid waste management practices. We want to understand what is considered as a waste. Dickson,
Yes.
I think let's start with Alpha. We shall get back to Dickson later. If someone talks about a waste, what should be considered as a waste? And in your perspective, what is a waste?
Oh, thank you very much. It's personally discussed. It may not have a unique definition. It depends on how someone understands a waste. But according to me, a waste can be a material that has been it's been used and it has lost its functionality. For example, you've been having something, you've been using it, but later on you feel like, I'm no longer interested in this, so it becomes a waste. Thank you very much. And if in fact they have some different classes of waste.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have solid wastes. We have wastewater. All those are wastes. But I think for the case of today, majorly we shall talk about the solid wastes.
Yes. So still about solid wastes that we are discussing today. What are some of these solid wastes that we can talk about?
Okay. Thank you very much. As I've said, there are different classes. There are according to their properties, we have biodegradable ones and the non-biodegradable ones. For the case of biodegradable ones, they are the ones that can be naturally destroyed. Like you have microbes in the environment, some environmental factors, they lead into their own destruction. So those could be the plant remains and also the animal tissues. So those are the biodegradable ones. But for the case of the non-biodegradable wastes, these are the ones that cannot be naturally destroyed. So it means we have to implement in some other conditions by human-made conditions to destroy these wastes. This, for example, the plastics. So plastics naturally they cannot be destroyed by environmental factors or conditions. So it means we have to impose some other conditions like banning of these wastes. For the case of plastics and other examples, it can include pharmaceutical products or pharmaceutical wastes. This cannot be naturally destroyed. So it means we have to implement in or put in some other conditions to destroy them. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, talking about solid wastes and the way Alpha has broken them down, we look at Uganda and we look at Kampala basically because really Kampala is the heart of Uganda. This is our capital, and when someone comes here, then they can get a clear image of what happens in Uganda because this is our center, administrative center, everything. What is the state of solid management around Kampala specifically?
Right.
According to you, is a passionate environmentalist.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Actually, in Kampala, we are still doing bad.
Okay.
We are still in a very bad condition when it comes to solid waste management. Yeah, when you move around Kampala, along the roads, in the slums, you really see a lot of waste, solid waste. You find heaps of pampers, these diapers. You find caveras everywhere. You find a lot of rubbish heaped somewhere. So it is really, you are still in really a bad condition. And I've seen KCCA come up with interventions to deal with this waste.
Yes.
You see some private companies are really trying to collect waste and take it to the landfill. Though, for example, you have Nabugabo and the other. Though these people, however much they're doing their best, they're not doing it to the expected, because there is something we are lacking, yet we are supposed to be doing. This waste, you cannot, if this waste is mixed and you decide to sort, it becomes very hard. Yet we would have needed to segregate it. You see this waste, this waste is a resource. Did you know that?
I'm yet to know.
Yeah. Solid waste is a big resource to the country. In fact, we lose a lot of millions, a lot of money because of just poor management of waste. If at all this waste was sorted, segregated at the point of generation, it would be very easy. So these these companies, they're really finding it hard to collect this waste because it's not segregated. So in Uganda currently, I can say we are in Kampala mostly we have a lot of waste because this waste is mixed up. I'll give you an example for plastic bottles. These plastic bottles are recycled, but to be recycled, they need to be clean. So it becomes very expensive for these companies to do what? To wash these plastic bottles and other plastics to such that they can reuse them. That's why you find it is very, very hard for them to collect and like to tell people to collect, maybe to come and sort, because when you sort, they are dirty, they need to be washed. So if at all we would segregate this waste, you find that these bottles are clean and dry. So it would be very easy for these companies to do what? To recycle.
I look at very many young boys out there who are actually working for those private companies you're talking about, and some are KCCA staff. Yes. They're on those trucks, but while they're carrying this stuff, they're segregating the waste. So you realize someone is on that truck, but with another sack of plastic bottles or with a sack of polythene bags. But I also think it comes from the people who from whom they get these wastes from. Because if at my home I have a cavera, I have maybe I buy milk in a cavera, and then the other waste is maybe food that is spoiled and what, and then I only have one deposition center. So I think it becomes hard to start segregating these wastes.
Maybe there are two words: segregating and sorting. What these people do on the trucks, they are sorting.
Okay,
it's very bad. Yes, we are supposed to segregate. That's just like I said from at the point of generation, whereby maybe you have taken your water, you have eaten this and that. You are supposed to have different containers to collect this rubbish. For plastics alone, for biodegradables alone, for electronic wastes alone, such that it becomes very easy to do what? To recycle. So what these guys do, you see them on the trucks. Those bottles are sometimes dirty. That's why I told you.
Not sometimes. They are
mostly they are dirty. So it becomes very hard for the companies to do what? To first wash them, then reuse them, and mini recycle them. So that's where the problem comes from. And they cannot remove all the plastics. They only remove bottles. So our waste still remains with a lot of plastics. You find plastics are mixed with what? Biodegradables, with electronic waste. And nowadays you have a lot of electronic wastes.
True.
Yeah. So you find that all these, they are mixed up and they end up in states. Yet these wastes could be very, very useful. Very, very useful. By the way, I'm still talking about the state of waste in Kampala.
Yes.
You realize that people pay 3,000. Is it 3 to 10,000? 10,000 for the waste monthly.
Yes.
Yet they could be earning that money, but they spend it.
Where I still will pay 2,000 each time a truck comes.
Yeah. For us we pay 5K. 3,000 per month. So you realize that we could be the ones to earn that money instead of spending it. How? If at all you have segregated your waste, plastics alone, biodegradables alone, electronic waste alone. All these ones are resources. Biodegradables, they will be used. They will be undertaken through composting, and they will form manure. Remember, our soils are depleting. Yes. They are becoming infertile because of the artificial fertilizers we use. Yet we could have used these resources we have, the biodegradable wastes that we generate every day. If we could take it through composting, then we could form what? This organic manure, which keeps the soil fertile, not these fertilizers. So you find that we are losing a lot of money. Then these bottles and other plastics could be recycled back to what? Could be sold back to these companies, and it will be very easy for them to buy because they will be clean and dry. So it becomes very easy for them to buy and to use them because they are really dry. Just comes very easy. Then for the electronic waste and other medical waste, maybe plus these other, I can call them miscellaneous waste. Then we do need incineration. But the incineration is also another source of what? Energy. When you look at these other developed countries, you realize that they use incinerators to generate what? Electricity. And so they use this heat to do what? To get more. They use this heat. This waste they burn. So they generate electricity, which run other factories. So you realize that we couldn't be spending any money. In fact, we could be just what? Earning money from the wastes.
Well, let's take a short commercial break, and when we return, we are going to continue with these discussions. Stick with us. Welcome back from that commercial break. This is Health Pod, brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health, and we are discussing solid waste management practices, and this is very, very important. And before the break, actually, they told us there is a lot more we can earn out of our wastes if we handle them very well. Well, Alpha, as we close down this discussion on the state of solid management in Kampala, what is your submission?
Well, as my colleague has said, the state of solid waste management, generally the state of solid waste in Kampala, it's not all that good. Well, we can't say that we have been in this condition ever since, but at least we've been seeing some improvements, but still there is need to change. Well, for example, there are very many factors that bring about this waste generation in this city. One of those factors is the population. We can see day by day the population of Kampala is increasing.
Yes.
Many people are coming from different areas. For example, even in my home district, my home state, Fort Portal, Masindi, other areas, they're coming into Kampala. So it means the waste generation will be increasing day by day. That's one. We talk about urbanization. We need to develop our Kampala city, and urbanization, that this development comes in with the generation of these wastes. But we are not seeing some great management practices in Kampala being imposed on. So it means every day we have to be modifying our environment. So we're having landfills here within Kampala. We have Chitezi. When you try to check there, you see there are heaps and heaps. Even initially it wasn't like that, but for this case now, it's forming a hill. When you're seeing it from roadsides, you can think maybe there is a man-made hill somewhere. Yet those are wastes.
It's a man-made hill of wastes.
So you see, he talked of waste being resources. Yes, it's very true. We can use waste as resources. For example, you talked of people collecting these wastes, plastic bottles and everything. So we could collect some good money from that.
Now, talking about wastes, what are some of the other effects of poor solid management, especially on our health?
Okay, thank you very much. These effects will still depend on the types of wastes. Depending on the effects, we have the hazardous wastes and the non-hazardous wastes. Especially the non-hazardous wastes, they can be the ones that can degrade organically or within the nature, and still they can impose a health effect if they are not managed very well. How? A nuisance. A nuisance, it means it's something that's bad to be with in the environment. Either by seeing it, there is no one who will feel interested in seeing waste everywhere. So it means it's creating that kind of a nuisance. That nuisance will bring about discomfort in the environment, of which in public health we also study something about psychological disturbances, also being part of the environment problems to humans. That's one. We have I talked of the hazardous waste. They are very good at causing diseases. Most of these wastes, once they come into contact with our food or water, they are carcinogenic, whereby they can cause cancer. And in Uganda, almost like every day, as I've said, the waste generation increases. So it means also the number of cancer patients in the whole country increases generally. So there is much need to look onto these wastes and we manage them so that we can reduce their effects onto the humans and the environment. We have the direct effects, like what I've said, and the non-direct effects for the case of health. We have pollution, soil pollution and water pollution. Those that they can pose an indirect in a long run. So pollution doesn't affect, like you deposit something today in a wrong way, then tomorrow it poses an effect. But these effects they are bringing about, they are long-term effects. Okay, so they can cause still cancers, the death of aquatic animals in the environment, also the retarded growth of plants, and humans generally they live on plants. So it means once we manage it poorly, the wastes, our life is on danger.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dickson.
Yes.
Ben, having gotten all these the effects and the state, what do you think can be done? How can we manage our waste? What are the best practices of managing this waste?
All right. Thank you so much. You have asked the best practices, and I'll tell you the best practices. Yeah, in fact, these best practices, we are not doing them. Yet we are not doing what we are supposed to be doing. We keep blaming the government. It's not doing this, the government.
And accusing it.
Every time. So it begins with us, from that person, from you as an individual, what you are supposed to do. Just don't mix. Just don't mix. Don't mix non-biodegradables with biodegradables with electronic wastes. Just don't mix. That's the best thing. That's the best thing we are supposed to do. If at all we don't mix, that's the first step of managing our waste. Then from there, that's when we can now say, maybe the government now should come in and maybe bring in support educating these people. You know, sometimes people are hard to change. Yeah, people are hard to change. So sometimes it's always good to educate people. So if at all the government funds health activists, like for us environmentalists, to go and really give this knowledge to the people down there, to change the minds of people on the way they manage wastes.
How about if you do it voluntarily? And then God bless you.
It's also good, but financially it is hard.
So it means you have to put in much.
Yeah, and also the government should be supportive, not only supporting health education, but should be supportive on these practices. Because as you are seeing that the government is wasting a lot of money on wastes, yet this waste could be very important. So if at all the government supports segregating, not sorting, and they emphasize on it, and these companies collecting waste should be strict. They say now we are providing maybe dustbins, maybe skips for biodegradables, for non-biodegradables separately, such that when someone is collecting their rubbish, their waste, they are taking it knowing that they are taking either this skip for non-biodegradables or for biodegradables, like that. So if at all this is done, I'm telling you, we shall manage our waste. We shall reduce the amount of waste that we take to the landfills. Remember, it becomes so bad when the landfill is too filled like that.
True.
Now you see again they are looking for another place where to begin taking rubbish. It's really very, very, very.
And yet, like he said, we are already struggling with the effects of urbanization.
Yes.
So people are becoming more and more, meaning those who use waste are also.
Yeah.
By the way, there is some Nigerian who came to Uganda and commented about the state of solidarity.
I don't understand.
So
we shouldn't be that political. Right?
So what I wanted to talk about really, it is reducing on like the tourists' interest to come in Uganda.
Yeah.
So if at all this waste is managed well, we shall not waste a lot of money on waste. In fact, we shall get more money.
Okay. So as we wind up this discussion, what are your parting shots as we close down this discussion?
What?
Your closing remarks.
Closing remarks. Yeah, the only message I'm giving to people: just don't mix rubbish.
Okay.
Just don't mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alpha, what are your closing remarks?
My fellow Ugandans and the whole world, in a very polite way, I'm emphasizing the point of not mixing. Not mixing, it means from the point of generation. So where you've generated your waste, please know, after knowing the types of waste as I talked about, please try to segregate them at the point of generation. Maybe when it fails, try to sort. After failing to segregate at the point of generation, let's try to sort. After that, then we shall see what next. But please, let's not mix from the start.
In 10 seconds, send out
please.
your greetings to at least someone watching you, especially those in Portugal.
Oh, thank you very much. Alphersiru still is my name. Greetings to my family especially.
Okay.
My dads, they are in South Sudan, by the way.
Hey.
Daddy Sula, I love you so much. Daddy Vaguma and Daddy Jamil, warm greetings to you. My mamas, I have a lot of mothers, by the way.
The mothers.
My mothers generally, I love you so much. And also my friends, those who know Alpha and those who are yet to know me, by the way. In fact, okay, Bridget. Greetings,
In 10 seconds, send out your greetings.
First of all, I greet my mom in Masindi,
Okay.
my sister, my brother, again other two sisters in Kampala. I greet you. Then my grandmom in Kawala, I greet you. Then Shukran, I greet you. Then the Spam family, St. Peter's Church where I pray from, I greet you. Then lastly, I greet all my friends at Marcus PH.
I did good
Thank you so
then.
much.
Thank
I
you
need
so
to
much.
add on
Thank
some
you so
good.
much. It's been a pleasure having you watching Church of Uganda Family TV. This has been HealthPod. Now, because this is a Cancer Awareness Month, it is important that we keep this in mind that sometimes the waste we don't manage well is a root cause of cancer. Therefore, mind the way you manage your waste. And most importantly, you realize that you can even earn something out of this waste. So, look for thought. God bless you. We meet again.